Hey, good evening. Welcome to the Speakeasy. I'm Jeff Belanger, and I'm glad to be your barkeeper tonight. Got a few things in store for you. The bar, right? First of all, please like, share, start your watch parties. Tell everybody, meet me in the Speakeasy right now because we're in here. We're going to have a few drinks. We're going to talk about life because the Speakeasy, the bar, the neighborhood pub right here may just be the very last bastion of truth. This might be the last place that will save the world. This is the only place we can find truth because I've brought with me tonight, and some of you have too, truth serum. This stuff is delicious. The Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I look forward to it every fall, and this year is no exception. I've been buying a lot of paint because I'm stuck at home quite a bit and doing house painting projects, and they give you these things when you buy paint at the paint store. And I had no idea that it would actually open paint cans. I was blown away. I mean, I knew what they were for, right? I mean, duh, I get that. But I was like, oh, this side right here, there it is. That side is to open the paint can. Aren't you glad you were here tonight? Now you know. Now you know what these things are for, besides opening your beer. Anyway, cheers to you, my friends. I'm glad you're here. May the truth set us all free. Bottoms up. Take off my hat. Settle into the bar. And yes, how's everybody doing? Why don't you post where you're watching tonight, what you're having a drink, how you're feeling. I hope you're good. It's crazy times out there, especially on social media. It's just the world is in turmoil and people are fighting quite a bit. So this is a politics-free zone. There'll be none of that. We have no place for it here. We're just chatting, hanging out, talking about the truth, the American way, and of course, Tim Shaw.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, we have with us today one of the 9th beautiful people in the entire world. Look out, look out, look out. There he is. Come up, come up, come up. For one thin dime, you too can be part of the beautiful Jeff Belanger show, where only the most handsome of men, the most manly of men, and the most feminine of women will come in and entertain you. Be one, be all. Come. Hi, buddy.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. This was great. So glad you could be here. Tim Shaw.
Hey, I had to. What can I tell you? You know
That's
what I mean?
amazing. Like, how do we all get a reverb mic like that?
Amazon, $30. That's what.
Dude, I'll give you 40.
I'll buy one and sell it to you.
All right.
We've been using these for frequency tests when we're doing ITC work. And since everything is frequency, our theory is that we can use these during paranormal investigations, and it's easier for the spirits to go and, get the vibe off of it. And it actually has worked. It's kind of weird. So we're just playing. We're working outside the box, baby. It's sort of like you. You're always outside the box. You're beautiful. Sometimes when I'm in downtown Washington,
I couldn't take it anymore. I had to just shut him off because, it's great. Come on, let's bring him back. Come on, Tim. I was like, boy, he's just going on and on. I can just cut him out. Tim, what are you drinking?
Jeff? What am I drinking? Tattered Flag. Tattered Flag is a whiskey that's brewed down in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
The distillery is actually run by veterans, and everybody that works there is a veteran.
Veterans of the Civil War?
Well, hey, listen, you know what? No. Maybe there's a couple pieces of the Civil War people in here, but
that's possible.
Possible. Most of them are Afghanistan, of course, and
got it.
But it's a really smooth whiskey, and that's why whenever I get down to Gettysburg, I usually buy about a case.
And are we going right out of the bottle there tonight, there, Tim? Or are we drinking out of a glass like a gentleman?
Oh no! Listen, you know what? Sometimes you must be civilized in an uncivilized society. So here's to everybody that's there, everyone that wants to be here, and of course, to our charming host, who is effervescent and iridescent. Cheers.
Shucks. Cheers.
Oh,
that's one down.
I think my eye. I'm just gonna pour another one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to get one on deck.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes sense.
You know,
Tim, we've known each other a number of years now. Been forced to sit next to each other on airplanes. Don't recommend it,
Yeah.
folks. If you can switch your seat, go ahead and do it.
Really.
I kind of wanted to actually talk about something a little bit weird tonight, if we could, among other things. I wanted to talk about spiritualism.
Yeah, sure.
I was having a conversation today. I was on a podcast. Some kids. I say kids because I'm that old now. From a college.
Welcome to my world.
Dude. I know.
You're a kid to me. You know what I mean?
I know.
Kid.
We're getting old.
That Jeff Belanger. I'm going to tell you what, Johnny Zappis. That Jeff Belanger. He's just such a good kid. Yeah, you're right. You know, Shaw, you're right. He's just a good guy. Yeah, that's
Not for nothing, dude. Not for nothing. So, spiritualism. We were talking about it. I said, look, everything you've ever seen in a ghost hunting show or whatever, like it all started. I'm saying not all started, but the line in the sand, right? Hydesville, New York, 1848, the Fox sisters,
right?
And spiritualism turns up as like a belief system, a religion. People are communicating with spirits, and the whole world changes. Allegedly. Wow. Aren't you a psychic medium?
Listen, yes, I am.
I saw that in your bio.
But you have to go and you have to weigh everything, dude. You can't. You know what? There's two different things out there. There's called the religion of spiritualism, and then there is the spirituality of spiritualism.
Okay.
And you have to really watch it. And if you're going to go and you're going to embrace the religion of spiritualism, you have to be able to go and do the history behind it. You have to look at the frauds, because there were a lot of frauds, let's face it, during the early 1900s. And I come from a family that converted to spiritualism in 1888, I believe. And it's been in my family ever since. But because it's been in my family, I've seen, again, growing up in a spiritualist Roman Catholic family, which is an oxymoron sometimes when you think about it.
That must have been a party.
Oh, you should have went to a Polish Catholic parochial school like I did. And you did. I did seriously, Jeff, this is the truth. Sister Mary, whatever, said, I want you to write an essay on what you did over my summer vacation. So I was like Ralphie in Christmas Story. I couldn't wait. Well, let's see. I was visiting relatives in the Lily Dale Spiritualist Assembly almost every single weekend to visit my aunt and uncle. I went to meditation. I got a message from my dead grandmother. I got this from my grandfather. We did healing circles, and I handed it in, and I was waiting to see the A. And guess what? I got back a little note that said, give this to your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Shaw. We need to talk. And that's the truth. That's a true story. And
hold on, Tim. It looks like you have a close relative here in Brenda. I am a Polish Catholic spiritual chick, so I get what you're saying. You must be related. There can't be more than two of you.
You będzie pochwalony Jesus Chrystus. That was the greetings that we used to have to go and
Gołąbkis.
I'm Scotch Irish, so why they sent me to a Polish Catholic school, I'll never know. But
it's a
we
good time
to learn Polish and stuff. Good times.
Wasn't that Our Lady of Inadvertent Flatulence?
That would be a church I would belong to.
I would I'll be there.
I would love to hear the Hallelujah choir, baby. I'd love to hear that. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Talk about rocking the roof off.
Yes, indeed. So spiritualism, because you're in upstate New York. You're not too far from. So how far are you from Lilydale?
I am 1 hour drive from Lilydale, and I'm 2 hour drive from Hydesville.
Yeah.
So I actually go to, I actually am in and out of the Lilydale community a lot, and I'm heading up to Hydesville very, very soon. I want to do some work up there independently, and I'm actually researching a lot of what we consider sacred sites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to Palmyra, which is like really close by. So I'm going to visit the sacred grove where the prophet of the Mormon religion, Joseph Smith, actually first got the visions of God. Allegedly God and Jesus Christ. Listen, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. After all the years I've done this stuff, I think the biggest problem that I have is the mythology behind a lot of it, because too much of the mythology is taken as complete truth. It's sort of like the Bible. If you read the Bible,
I have. It
it's
doesn't
hard.
end well. It doesn't.
No,
The
it doesn't.
ending
It
is
doesn't. No, it doesn't end well. But
not to ruin it, but we all die.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to go and you got to be a little bit of skeptic. You got to be skeptical, and you have to understand the time period. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take that step back into the 1800s. What was going on? Why was it so important? Why was there so many frauds? Why did Houdini get crazy out there and disbelieve so much? Why did Arthur Conan Doyle believe everything that was put out there? The early pioneers of spiritualism, dude, you got to take all that with a grain of salt. But yet, for me, if I just go and embrace the spirituality of it, I've seen some really crazy, miraculous stuff. Uh, I've seen
Well, give me an example. Tell me
seances.
something miraculous where you're like, "Holy cow! Like this is like
Well,
church miracle here."
Well, I'll tell you what I have, my health is, a lot of people know that I've had a lot of tumors. I've had 9 bladder surgeries, 2 chemos. And you want to know what's miraculous? It's sort of one of these things where it's like people went, and I was like terrified this last one of the last times I went in. I was really sick, bleeding really badly, and somebody organized a prayer circle, a healing circle.
Mhm.
And again, at the time I had my radio show, and she contacted so many people through Facebook and all these other social medias. My wife and I walked into the hospital, and it was like I knew everything was going to be good. This was going to be the last surgery. Everything's going to be excellent. Everything is perfect. I could feel the heat in my bladder. I could feel that. I could feel it in the abdomen. That was amazing. Uh, as a kid, I remember seeing spirit. I mean, I've seen full blown manifestations where I can't explain it. We were back in the day. They used to have special rooms that they set aside for seance, and they would have black cloth on the walls, and everything was blacked out and stuff.
This is in your family's home.
This was, yeah, actually this was, and
Okay.
it was because they were all mediums. In order to stay,
Yeah.
they were all part of the spiritualist community back then, and I mean, you'd be sitting there, and I probably went to my first seance when I was, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And they were children's seances. So they were in these rooms, but it wasn't dark. It wasn't, at night. So there was a
Sure.
little bit of light coming in. And you look up and you see, what we call now shadow figure just walk by. You sit there and go, oh my God, what is this stuff? I've seen the trumpets come off of, and a trumpet is just a big long, cylinder.
Yeah.
And I've seen these things. I've seen them come off of stools and off of tables, and it's like they allowed me to examine it, and that's what was so important. They allowed me to examine it, and I couldn't figure out how they faked it. And I know a lot about how to fake it, even as a kid.
Yeah.
Uh,
Watch
the
this.
Wow,
Yeah. Huh.
ladies
Just
and gentlemen,
saying.
boys and girls, I want you to go and put your afflicted part of your body next to the monitor. Come
Are you
closer.
watching?
Come
Are you
closer.
watching?
Come
Watch.
closer.
Watch. Watch.
Let me.
It's a bird. All right. All right. Enough magic. Enough magic.
But I mean, seriously, there was a lot of things that I couldn't explain. I went to spirit rescue circles where we actually heard. We were in private residences, and we actually heard the sounds. I've had things. I've had the touches. And these things are when you think about it, are rather miraculous. These are things that
Sure.
and then of course, I mean, it was the gifts of prophecy, the what I was told by the old mediums. I may be a spirit medium now, but I'll be honest with you, I can't hold a candle to some of the old people. But on the flip side, for every one person that I believe was genuine, I believe there was a hell of a lot of fakes going right up into the 50s, 60s, and even to the 70s. Your billet readers, your side. I always call them sideshow rubes. These
Yeah.
are people that would go out there and just do it for money. But some people were just amazing. I sat in a church service where there was a guy and he was speaking, right? So the voice is coming out of his mouth.
Yep.
And I was up front and you could hear a second voice coming out of like its solar plexus. And this is back before they had like micro cassettes and all that shit. I mean, there was a second voice that I heard coming out. I don't know if he faked it. I don't know how he did it, but we were right up there and you could hear that and it had an accent to it.
Hmm.
And it was, I mean, this is stuff. Reverend Robert Schuller. He's one of the last of what they call the transfiguration mediums. And he goes, and when he goes under, it's like ectoplasm covers up his face. And you see different faces. The faces start to change. He's bald like me, and he's got, you can start seeing the hair. And they encourage people to shout out what they're seeing. So I'm seeing something. And like seconds later, somebody else across the room is seeing the exact same thing that I'm seeing. So these are things that, and back in the day when I was a kid, when I witnessed this stuff, that was crazy, And I would come back.
Yeah, it's crazy now.
Yeah, I'd come back during the summer, after the summer, and I'd be in school. I have my little white ass shirt and my little tie, and the nuns would be going, "Okay, Tim, why don't we go? And I think you'd be great to be an altar boy." And I'd go, "No, thanks." And they'd go, "What do you mean? What do you mean? It's the greatest honor in the world that we can give you." It's because I didn't embrace it. I embraced, for me, the religion of my father's family was far more important and far more believable, which is hard to fathom because we're,
well, it's more tangible, right? Look, I was raised Catholic, and I've talked to people about this. I've talked to friends who consider themselves witches about this. How when you're Catholic, you passively, yeah, Mazel Tov, hey, right. So when you're Catholic, you sit there passively
and sweat on that one.
Thank you, veterans whiskey. So you're sitting there. All the magic is happening up front, right? There's an altar. Right. There's a priest. There's magic words spoken. There's bells rung. Everything is on that stage. You do nothing. I mean, you say you sing the hymns and you say the callbacks or whatever, but all that magic is happening up there. And I've had friends who are witches say, "Look, I want to put that in your hands. I want you to wish for the outcome you want and to mix something and make something happen." And it's much more tangible. So I understand, as a guy raised Catholic, how seeing spiritualism, where you can hold the trumpet, where you can be in the room when it's happening, where if you see or hear something, you are allowed to say what you see or hear. That just doesn't happen in Catholicism.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something, Jeff. I went to a lecture with a former theologian.
Yep.
Former Jesuit theologian from Georgetown University. And he married the former president of the National Spiritual Association of Churches. And the two of them got up there and they talked about the differences between spiritualism and Roman Catholicism. And I'm going to be honest with you, outside of the divination of Jesus Christ, there really isn't a whole lot because the names are different. You know what I mean? The terminology is different. But if you break away from the terminology, a lot of it's the same by location and all that stuff. And I started looking, and he said to me, I asked him, the question I asked him was, we're looking at all these saints. We're looking at all this stuff that's supposed to be miraculous. Why is it held away from the people? And he goes, it's held away from the people because many of the people won't understand it, of course. But he goes, I don't believe in that. He goes, I believe that people, when presented with something, they will be able to go and accept it. And I thought that, wow, that's great. And he goes, if you want to study true mediumship, study the life of the saints. And I did. And we have a guy up here on the fast track of being a saint, Father Nelson Baker. And when I started researching him, and I have a buddy of mine that has written a couple books on that topic, I started thinking to myself, holy crap, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was taught that in school, if I was taught it properly, if I was taught the mysteries of the Roman Catholic Church, I probably would never have embraced spiritualism so much, because you have, in the Roman Catholic Church, you have the mysteries, you have ritual, you have so much of it that is all put together. But unfortunately, too many people just kind of let it go, and it's not taught properly. And I'd be the first one to go and bitch about it.
Well, at the same time, though, like, I get it. There's, how much is too much power to give to people that haven't had the proper training or whatever. And as an example to that, look at all these, like, just whatever non-denominational churches that pop up, charismatic leaders making millions upon millions of dollars, not answering to anybody other than
Mm-hmm.
whoever, right? Not answering to anybody but their flock. And
But
and
again, this is something that's taught right from infancy, is the fact of the infallibility of leaders.
yeah,
And I mean, you're talking to a cat that you know I survived. I was a kid during the 60s and 70s. I remember all the protests. I remember when Kennedy was killed in 63. I remember the burnings and the lootings and the Demo, the, the Democratic Party or Democratic uh, uh, convention and what happened during that stuff. I remember all that stuff. And the problem is the fact that I question everything. And again, this is why earlier on, when I said alleged, I always say alleged, because of the fact that when you start researching, first of all, you weren't there. So you have to be able to take things in context.
yeah.
And you can't, just because somebody said the Fox sisters did X, XYZ, and then you can't take that as gospel. And then you say you have somebody else on the other side saying, well, the Fox sisters did this at the end. They went and they said that they were snapping their toes and all that other stuff. You can't take either side. It's up to us to use our common sense and to delve into this and form an opinion for ourselves. And that's what I think a lot of the problem with that we have with paranormal investigators and religious leaders and such. They pablum feed the flocks. And that bothers me. That really bothers me. I believe that you have to question everything. And as a medium, dude, I'm going to tell you something. I am not like your like regular everyday medium, because of first
You're
of all, I'm
not.
extra large, baby. I'm extra
You're at
large.
least an
I am
extra
I
large,
am
maybe
I am
two.
all man. No, 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 no. I lost some
Just
weight.
one.
I lost some weight. Just
One
just
X.
just
Good.
enough. What else? But Jeff, I mean, you have to question everything. And I'll be honest with you, if when I do I do two different types of readings. I mean, I do the gallery readings,
Yep.
which is the casino stuff, and that's fine. You get what you pay for, whatever. But when I do personal one-on-one readings, I want to bring through identifiers. I want to bring through I want to give that person the best reading I possibly can, and I
Okay.
want them to go and just say, "Hey, you know what, Tim? It makes sense," and that's good enough. That's all I
Okay. I
care
have a
about.
question. I have a question. I have a question. Hold on.
Sure.
Okay. So because I can't relate to psychic abilities, I can't, right? I mean, I believe I have.
You have it, dude. Everybody's got it. Let me throw this
Okay.
right out. No. Let me throw this right out at you. I studied shamanism for years. I went and I took classes under Tom Brown Jr., who is a great trapper from New Jersey. He's a naturalist, and as far as I'm concerned, he is an American mystic. And the way he explained it to me made perfect sense. When we were in that hunter gatherer stage, we needed something to project forward in order for us to survive. We had to know where safe havens were and clean
Mhm.
water and tribes and all this other crap. You had to have it. And as we went through time and started living behind walls and became more of an agricultural society, we started not paying attention to it. The only people that paid attention to it were shamans and priests and all that. All it is muscle memory. And you may say that, oh, I'm as psychic as a rock, I can't relate. But you know what? Sometimes all you need is one thing to happen. And we always call it crisis openings, where like
Sure.
like your kid or whatever, it just didn't feel right. Something told me that something was going to happen. That basically is what it is. I mean, sometimes you gotta understand that you maybe have been reading body language. You may have been reading the signs. You might have subjectively been influenced by something you saw on TV. But the idea is that when you can like take all that away, and you can go and say, I don't know where it came from. There you go. That's all it is. It's just
I
muscle
get that.
memory. And
I
anybody
get
can
that.
do that.
Nope.
You
And I
know?
get that sometimes you meet a person and you just got a bad feeling and they've done nothing
Well,
but say
exactly.
hello. And
Exactly.
sometimes you meet a person and you got a good feeling and they've
Right.
just said hello and you're just like,
Right.
huh, I get
Yeah.
that. So I'll say that, yes, I do understand that we all feel the energetic connection of everybody we ever meet, people we sit next to on planes, unfortunately, sometimes, people that, yeah, this. So, but at the same time, when you're doing like a reading, like how do you go there on command? How do you sit down and say, all right, I'm going to go to this place that Jeff needs, like, you know, a car accident to almost happen or like a tree to fall on the house. How do you just go there?
How do I get into the zone? Is that what you're talking
How
about?
do you get
How do I
into the
start?
zone?
Yeah, that's the way I call it.
Okay.
Again, I am not your grandmother's medium.
No,
The way
she's dead
no, thank God.
and quite old if she was alive.
If be what 135, 136,
Should
something around
be
there.
should be plus 100 by a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, what it is, Jeff, is that when I was brought up in this stuff, I mean, it was like it's what I call church. It's called church reading, church mediumship, where it's
Okay.
like everybody's sitting there and you're getting into you're clearing your mind and you're asking, your guides and everything to come down and, aid you in this and you're getting letter boxes and you're hearing stuff inside your head. I don't get that. And the reason why I don't get that is because I was chosen when you're a kid, they look for different attributes in everybody. And I had a big mouth. Imagine that. And
Where'd it go?
yeah, really. But I was trained as a gallery reader. So my church and gallery reading in the spiritualist traditions are done in church.
Yep.
That's part of it. Not, you guys see me like at casinos and you guys see me at, out there doing the readings. But they're done primarily in church as part of the worship service. So that's what I was brought up in. But what I found was that the process took so long, and it's like everybody is like, I got to ground myself, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I took a class one time with the Reverend Sharon Klingler, advanced mediumship, a number of years ago. And what happened was we were like book work every day, we were reading every day. It was like constant. I mean, we good 12, 13 hours every single day we worked. And by the end of the week, all of a sudden I didn't get anything inside my head, but I was getting the essence of what happens, of what was going on. I don't think about it. I don't see it. I don't hear it. I don't smell it, but yet I get the essence. So if I say, listen, you know what, this is what I'm seeing. I'm hearing this coming. I'm not actually hearing it. It's the essence of what's going on. And I thought I broke myself. I'll be honest with you. I thought I did. I used to see aura objectively, which means through my eyes.
Yep.
And I don't get that. And Sharon said, well, hold on. What color is around me? And I said, what do you mean? I can't see anything. She goes, what color is around me? And when Sharon would tell you that, you would do it. And green, blah, blah, blah. She goes, there you go. You're a gallery reader. You're trained to do it quickly. So what I do basically is I'm not one of these church people. I will go and I will listen to AC/DC, like when I'm up at the Sioux or something else. I'll have my headset in, and it's like I'm sitting in my room listening to AC/DC and the hardest metal rock I can possibly get.
Highway to Hell, I assume.
Oh yeah. Ozzy. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
And the idea is because you want to go and you want to raise your vibes. You want to be happy. You got to be happy, joyful. And that's why I make people sing like during like my gigs. And the reason for that is you're raising their vibrations. There's a whole science behind it. You raise the vibration. Spirit is a vibratory thing.
Tim, let me pause you. Let me pause you if this is possible. Speaking of raising vibrations, I think we should take a little musical interlude. Are you game?
I'm game.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That'll help. Go ahead. Have that. Cheers.
Some enchanted evening, you may meet
All
a
right.
stranger, not just any stranger.
I'll just turn you off.
Crowd.
Yeah, keep singing. Yeah, he's off. No problem. That's good. Easy, right? That's all I got to do. Just turn him off. You can be. Oh, he's drinking. Oh, whoa. So this, you may know what this is. It's tough to see through the monitor. I understand. Anyway, this is a rain stick. I've had this for a very long time, and I wanted to play a little song tonight, if I might indulge you. And Tim, you're my guest, so I would let you pick the song. Any song you want, anything at all. You just go ahead and shout it, and I will play it on the rain stick.
Ozzy's Paranoid.
Paranoid. Okay, yeah. Oh God, how does that give us? What's the riff again? No, like I mean, Paranoid. Pick another one. Pick one I know. Come on.
Oh, pick one that you know.
Yeah, come on.
The Doors.
Sure.
People Are Strange.
Okay. All right. Ready?
People are strange.
People are strange. Hold on. This is my show.
Oh, sorry.
When you're a stranger, faces seem ugly. When you're alone, when you're strange. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nobody plays the rain stick like me. Nobody.
I don't have any matches. Oh, hold on.
Listen, I'm going to do one more just because I can see there's a lot of comments going on. This is Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big butts and I cannot lie. This is a great comment. Wait. Look at this one. Sandra says, you realize we're all drinking and you're making rain noises. Anyone have to tinkle? Ooh-wee. Anyone need a break? I love this thing. I've had that since I was probably like 10 years old. Well, there's our musical interlude, Tim. I didn't know if I didn't want you to leave without a song,
I love it, baby. I love it.
Yeah, I do. So, what you been watching on TV? You watching Ozzy?
Yes, I am. Of course I am. I thought it was great. I mean, I met Jack earlier this year, so it was really great to see him. I always like watching him interact with his dad, and it's being an old bouncer.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I can relate to Ozzy. I mean, I'll get you. Don't worry, I'll get you a cap.
I remember when I was a kid and thinking, like, boy, Ozzy Osbourne. I wonder what he thinks about the paranormal. I'm just kidding. I never thought that once. But who knew? Who knew? The Osbournes are doing their thing. So I want to know how many Travel Channel shows can be about showing paranormal clips, because I think they're up to 3 right now.
I think they're more than that, aren't they?
Yeah. Crazy. Well, people like them.
That's right. And you know what? They're cheap to produce.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're in the middle of all this crap, and let's put some new content up there, since none of us can go and travel really and really get out there and be part of the big scene out there. Why don't we just go and put this stuff together? And I think it helps the paranormal, because people are like, holy crap, I got this. And again, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, and maybe you can dissect it. Maybe if you're like me and you record some of these shows, you can play them back when everybody's drunk and go, oh dear
dude,
God,
but some of these clips, man, come on, look, I know these folks are our friends that are doing the commentary. They're our buddies. But like, if I show you a clip right now where like something crazy happens, something flies across the room, Tim, what do you think? All you can say is, holy crap, unless you're faking me out, unless like you've got fishing wire or whatever.
Exactly.
Holy crap. That's all you can say, right?
Exactly. Because you can't, you're not there.
I know you're not there. And not only that, like, I want to know, tell me the story behind that location. Tell me what other experiences people are having. Like just seeing something like, right? Like, well, that's weird. I'll give you that. That's really strange. I can't explain it. But I mean, if you asked me to give a commentary on that, like how many ways can I say, yeah, that doesn't happen? It's pretty crazy. So at the same time, I wish we could see like the getting in deeper to the subject, because everything is getting so superficial. I don't know if it's about trying to play it safe with this subject. Just be like, hey, let's just show clips, or let's just ghost hunt in the dark. Like, man, it's been done. Like, how do we go deeper? Like that's
it's hard. It's hard. And a lot of people, I've been approached by a lot of production companies, and we won't mention any big ones that wanted to do
whatever. Good.
What it was they wanted to go, and they wanted me to start doing like seance.
Oh.
And they wanted me to do contact work. But
We
I'm
could
going to
do it
be
on StreamYard.
well. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with it. It doesn't translate well. It doesn't translate well because you're not getting you're not getting the atmosphere. You're not getting that feeling that's going on, and it looks like 2-dimensional instead of 3-dimensional.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it just doesn't translate well. And it was funny because I went and I tried to explain this to somebody, one of these producers, and he go, well, can't you just go and set something up? So I did. I set something up, and I you know I did it with IR and low light and red light, and it sucked. It sucked. And we did get some knocking, and we did get the table, through the idiomotor response. We get the table. Did get the table to buck, but I'm going to tell you what, it was flat. It was flat, and the only way that you could jazz it up is put some, dramatic music behind it, and have a couple rubes in there, have a couple plants go, at the right time, and that's the only way you could do it. And I don't want to. I don't want to
All
be
right,
part of
Tim,
that.
quit it. I'll do it. All right, I'll do it. I'll be on your show. I'll be one of the rubes being like, what was that? I felt something pinch my butt.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. And it just falls flat, so
Not with me there, Tim. I'll watch. Right, I can turn my head like a quarter of the way around.
Can you be like, can you be possessed?
Oh, can I be possessed? Let me get into character. Yes, I can be possessed.
That's a $600 check right there.
Give me 12 more of these. I'll show you possessed.
I'll show you possession.
Let's fight. Let's fight the demons.
Oh.
I got ghostly beer muscles.
Oh.
Dude, so I've been trying to pitch this show idea for years. I'm going to say it now. Someone's going to steal it, and like next week it'll be on.
Of course.
Right. So like drunk history meets ghost hunting. We just get blotto and then look for ghosts. Like we're in the dark. I'm like,
what do you mean?
Shh, I hear something.
It's been done. It just hasn't been on TV yet.
Yeah, right. And like, you're trying to creep down the hall and you think you're being so quiet and you're knocking over every damn thing in your way.
Or you're bouncing off the wall.
I hear it. I hear a thumping. That's you hitting the wall, bro. No, man, it's a ghost. Shut up. Yeah, this would be great. Tim, I don't want you to freak out, but when we started, this beer was full. Dude.
Oh my God. Dude. Oh my God. Listen, I think we have an addictive personality here. I think we do have an energetic, addictive personality because all of a sudden this stuff is like just disappearing. And it's just, what's going on? What's just going on? I don't know if I can handle this. Jeff, hold me, Jeff, hold me. I'm scared.
Speaking of beer, remember that time in Chicago we ate all those sausages?
Trying to remember Chicago.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my God, yeah.
We were with Brad
I remember Chicago.
Yeah, and we found this like sausage place, which was awesome, by the way.
Oh my God, yeah, they had the greatest food in the world. It was like a little joint. Remember, it was like walking distance from the hotel.
Yeah, that was great. It was great.
Yeah,
those were the days, man. Those were the days. So yeah. So hey, you watched me on TV the other night because you texted me.
You did a great job. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna stroke your ego because I can.
We have to set it up, Tim. We have to. Oh my God, dude. So okay. So the other night, Travel Channel played this documentary, Shock Docs, which was Devil's Road, Ed and Lorraine Warren documentary about their life. I grew up with those cats. I knew them my whole life. Go on, Tim.
And I'm going to tell you what. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and I've got my popcorn. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I saw Jeff up here on the screen, and he's like this, as serious as it can be. Yes. I remember Ed and Lorraine Warren.
I remember Ed and Lorraine Warren.
The two of us.
There we were.
It was amazing, but you really did. You know what? All the joking aside, Jeff, you really do a great job. You did a great commentary on it. I thought it was, it was real.
So
I thought some of it fell flat because, of course, I mean, I knew Lorraine, and we all know Lorraine and everything.
yeah,
But what I loved about it so much was the audio that you told me that you provided, which is
yeah, that was a lot of that was my audio, folks. Like,
I think, oh my God, I thought that was great. I loved a lot of the video because I hadn't seen a lot of the clips, So that to me was well worth it. And as a matter of fact, I recorded it, and I'm going to go and I'm going to watch it again.
I'm a little sexy.
Just a little sexy, baby.
Just a little.
He's just a little sexy. He's
just
sexy,
a wee
man.
bit.
He's sexy, man.
So no, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn at all. I just thought that documentary was sort of like the old school stuff that I used to love to watch, right?
Yeah.
Recreations.
I agree with you.
But not overdone. And it was also it was fair, right? I thought it was remarkably fair because those folks were controversial too. But what blew me away is they let me say something. Well, I said it, but they actually used it, is what blew me away. Talking about the Conjuring case.
Right.
How it ended. Yeah. Ed Warren got punched in the face by Roger Perrin and kicked out of the house. Yeah. That was the end of the Warrens.
I'll be honest with you. I'm sitting there and I go to my wife. They're going to have the Conjuring. They're going to talk about the Conjuring house. I said, and again, I mean, we all know Andrea and we know Roger, and I remember the first time I had read that in the book, in Andrea's book, and I'm going, what the hell? And I talked to him about it, and they both were, that son of a bitch. And, and I am so thankful that they put that in there because that gave such, it brought such truthfulness and honesty to what was going on. And people don't understand that they were that controversial at the time. And sometimes they really didn't know what they were actually doing, like with the seances and stuff. I mean, this was all early stuff. They were working with the Roman Catholic Church, and the Roman Catholic Church didn't want to work with them. It's not like now where you can go and, it's like, excuse me, call 1-800, call an exorcist. I mean, it's not.
You
like
say that, but at the same time, like, come on, man. I know people that they've called me. They're like, I've called my priest and I can't get a call back. Yeah. I will say this for all of Ed Warren, his pluses and minuses, he had no problem calling you out. Right. And I agree with him 100%. Like, again, the boy raised Catholic here. If your local, if you go to a church, if you go to Roman Catholic Church and you think there's trouble in your house and you reach out to your priest for spiritual guidance and help, and the priest says, oh, we don't do ghosts, go away. What the hell? What business are you in? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that at all. That's not cool to me. Now, if you're not a member of that church, well, you've got a hurdle to get over, right? You got to convince them that I need help, and like I'm seeking not just your guidance, but also like your path, right? Like, nothing's free, folks.
Was, the exorcist that I had worked with.
Yeah.
There was nobody at the time in the Western New York area within the Roman Catholic churches that was trained for it. So they would actually call him from another religious organization to come in and do this work. And it always blew my mind. And and here's the problem. Here's the problem, Jeff. And you know it as well as I do.
Do tell the problem. I've been waiting to hear this.
The religious organizations are created by man, and they are built to keep going. And how do you keep going? You have to raise money. You have to be.
You also need to have babies.
Well, that too.
I highly recommend if you start a religion that you forbid birth control. It's a great way to get the numbers up.
Exactly.
When I start my religion, there'll be no birth control. Just saying.
Jesus. I'm joining anyway.
Yeah, if you want in, like, you're going to have babies. Lots of them. That's how we get the numbers.
Listen, I have none now, so I might as well start.
Yeah, anyway, why not?
We have to have young sacrificial ladies. That's all we need. But here's the problem.
You took it there. You made it weird. You made it weird.
Make it weird. That's what I do. But but what sucks is the fact that it wasn't until I think it was Adam Bly. I think Adam Bly is in charge of something in Pittsburgh. And, remember seriously, Jeff, when we first started, when we first met down in Gettysburg, how many years ago, nobody, there was no real training at that time. There really wasn't. Rome there was, but nothing that we really knew about. Maybe they had one course in,
Well, no. So the Catholic priests, I actually did a story on this once. They used to teach all priests the rite of exorcism up until like the early 1970s. It was just part of your training. You learned how to do all kinds of things.
Was that because of Vatican II?
I think it was the Vatican too, but so what they said was they stopped teaching it as a separate rite because the number one, they're like, look, if you ever need to use this, you're calling in the heavies, not you, right? Like we have special people for this, right?
Mhm.
And number two, they consider baptism an exorcism,
Right.
to this day.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
part of the rite of baptism is an exorcism, out with the bad, in with the good, and
Exactly, 'cause
off you go.
you're born sick.
Yeah, so that's it. So that was part of it. So they stopped teaching it as a separate rite. They don't really talk about it, and it's a tricky thing. It's not, you know, I think from a PR standpoint, they don't know what to do with it. You know, on the
Right.
one hand,
Mhm.
they're all for whatever puts butts in seats, right? If you got people saying, "Hey, I'm scared, the devil might be real," but how do you have one message of like love and salvation and all this other stuff without the consequence of it, right?
Again,
Like,
they don't teach balance. They never taught balance,
well, what's
you
yin
know?
without yang? What's good without bad, right? Because
Exactly,
if you were
exactly.
like if there was only evil, it wouldn't be evil. It would just be normal, all right?
This is inherently evil, but I'm a
Yes,
good person, so this will neutralize inside of me.
the devil's urine, which by the way, I believe kills coronavirus.
That's what I need. But no, you're 100% right, because a lot of it, I mean, a lot of it, it was there. I think they were also afraid of it being harkened back to almost tribalism, where this was something that may have been tainted in the dark ages. And again, I can draw the comparisons with spiritualism and the great, because there's two ages in spiritualism, and I got lambasted in the churches that I used to serve, because I said you have the golden age of spiritualism, where it became like the number one growing religion in the United States, and everybody was like all part of it, and everybody was crazy about it. And then you had the golden age of fraud, and you can't have one without the other. And I do believe that so many of them were worried about that age of fraud, and I think a lot of people were worried as we started understanding human psychology a little bit more. I believe that a huge percentage, of course, is mental defect.
Oh,
And
absolutely, could be.
yeah, I
Tim,
mean,
there's a question for you, by the
yes,
way.
I didn't do it. The check is in the mail, and I
Joy wants to
love.
know what kind of items you collect. Do you have anything lying around besides your reverb microphone?
Hi, Joy. How are you? I collect unusual items. I have a couple display cases of items that I've removed from houses because they were haunted. I have a lot of asylum pieces. I have I have a lot of African pieces and African effigies that I love. A lot of the Santa Muertes, a lot of the Hispanic work. I love all that. I collect Ouija boards. I got one not too long ago that was sent to me. So I think I got 64 Ouija boards in here. It's down in the
64,
basement.
and you only have two hands.
Hey, I
Well,
also
on
got 2
2
feet,
feet.
baby.
2 feet, so you can use 4 at a time. If you
I'm
levitate on the
talented.
planchette.
I might be able to use more than that, but we won't
Oh,
watch.
hey-o. Yeah. It's getting later. You got a few drinks in you, and suddenly you're working blue tonight. Well
but
done.
but I do collect this. I enjoy that. A lot of times I pick up bits and pieces where people are afraid of it. I just got a totem pole. My buddy Frank, his daughter had a friend.
Who's at the bottom? Is it
Hey,
me?
listen,
Am I at the bottom? I'm at the bottom.
I've often heard that you're a bottom, but that's another story. But people were afraid of it. They bought it and at an estate sale, and they've had it's been creepy town ever since. And they're like, "Do you know anybody who wants it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I kind of know a guy." So
I got a guy.
I got it down here, man. I
Right in
got
the
it down
front
in my
yard, like
collection.
just
No, man, I got it down in the basement with all the other stuff I got. It's only a small one. It's what we call a Route 66 totem pole. It's probably made in Indonesia,
right.
But I mean, it's just a tourist piece. But people, a lot of times, there's two different types of haunted objects. You got people that project into it, that they're just creeped out by it. But then you have pieces that are actually, they may have something attached to it. I've
So,
got
well, that's Joy's follow-up question. Do they act up in the house? Did weird things happen, or do they
you know what, I'm gonna
behave?
be honest. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I don't have a problem. The only time we just moved into this house, uh, and I haven't really had a problem outside of some doors shutting and things like that. That's no big deal. But at the other house,
You're used to doors shutting though on you.
You shut the door on me
I
many times.
I see you coming with full suitcases and stuff. Just boy, that guy can't
It's
take
like
a hint.
it's like you son of a
Yeah.
right into the door.
Oh, sorry, Tim. I didn't see you right behind me.
But no, I mean, when I used to, in my old office where I used to keep everything. Once in a while, I get a bang on one of the trunks where I keep them, or if my stress levels go up, there's a lot of stuff going on around me. Yeah, I get that. But on the other hand, I mean, everything isn't bad. I mean, I have a crucifix that was used. That was presented to me. It was a crucifix that was used in 11 exorcisms, unsanctioned exorcisms. I have that in there, and I have class 3 holy relics which is something that was actually touched to, not the actual saint, but also part of let's say their clothing or whatever. So I mean, I have things like of that nature,
which is right. So okay, do you buy into it? Do you think that there's some like here's not like my ring, but here's a ring that touched my ring, like
right?
Do you think?
I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't buy into it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter what. And here's the thing, Jeff. It doesn't matter what I believe.
No, that's true.
It's what the other person believes.
Power of faith, of course.
Exactly.
Right?
You know what? It's a suspension of reality.
But at the same time, so what's funny to me is like I know that whole class of relic where there's like the finger bone of a saint, like that's big, right? You get that, like you got the.
I'm waiting
like
for you to give me your finger bone. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Like Mickey Mantle's rookie card, if you got that, right?
Exactly.
So, but then there's like his clothing, which you'll never prove or disprove, and then there's like a cross that touched the clothing, along with like 10,000 other crosses.
It's like Father Pio. All these miracles that have been attributed to him, the touching of the relic to the person or whatever. And you know what? It's also an industry too, where people create hundreds, if not thousands, of these little rose petals that were touched to a class 2 relic that belonged to him. Let's say his bandages from his stigmata, were touched that, and then it's laminated, and then of course it's sold all over the world. So I mean, there's a lot of that, and I don't. I personally don't buy into it. But hold on,
wait. Okay. Let me finish my point before you just filibuster. So
this is what happens when you get two hosts together.
Yeah, but I got that. I can play that card anytime. That's the best. That's the best.
Wait a minute.
So, poof. No, you're still here. You can stay as long as you behave. So I understand the want, the need, not even the want, like that so powerful desire to have a physical connection with something real and tangible. I want to touch something that validates my faith. I sort of get it. However, consider this, right? Like, don't they say like every 45 breaths or something, you're breathing the same air that Shakespeare breathed all those years ago, right? Like it's all circulating. We're all interconnected. You don't need to touch the fabric that touched the fabric that touched the cross.
Again,
right?
You're talking about the realm of belief, and you know what? Knowing survivors that have gone through horrendous illnesses, sometimes it's that hope, it's that intent that really brings them in. And who am I to say, well, it's garbage, don't believe in it? Sometimes that's what brings in that healing that they need. And I'll be honest with you, 9/10 of it is psychological in your head. You're
sure, but that's still your reality,
right? It's your reality, and
there'll be no holy relics. There'll be no holy relics from 2020 because we've disinfected everything. We've wiped it all down. You're right. You can be like, this touched the deli counter that Michael Jordan once touched, but it doesn't matter because we
doesn't matter
that thing.
His DNA is gone.
Yeah, none of his magic touches there. It's gone. So that's just kind of the way it goes, man. But I get it. I get that need and that desire for connection, whatever it is, and that's why people go to like biblical sites or
exactly.
And you start to realize, right, at some point, paranormal investigation is teetering awfully close to a belief system.
It is. Oh no,
with
it
its
is.
with
It
its
is.
prophets and saints and priests and nuns and
Yep.
whatever and priestesses.
And its method and the new rituals
Its
is
dogmas.
methodology
Yeah.
is in technology. I mean, that's the new rituals, man. That's because people. But how many? I mean, growing up, I mean, I remember sitting in church while people were praying to the the crosses or whatever, and then I went to a séance and people are sitting around and they're like focused in on the thing. It's the same thing. And you go on paranormal investigations, and what are they doing? They're sitting around in the dark talking to themselves like a prayer. Is there anybody here? Would you help me? Would you
Yeah.
do this? Would you do
Right.
that? That's what it is. And
Yeah.
to me, it's it's just a modern version of it. That's why I always say I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. And that's where I think some people are missing the boat. They're kind of not realizing they reject let's because I've met many people that are former Catholics that have rejected Catholicism for something that is remotely connected to Catholicism. Ritual,
Yeah.
people leave Catholicism to go into the craft, yet the craft is seeped in ritual. And the anointing oils
Well, sure.
Catholicism, you have anointing oils,
Yeah,
you have
but you have
holy
to
water, you
realize,
have
like,
all this.
all that anointing, all that ritual, the altar, the cross, all these symbols, predate Catholicism by
Exactly.
thousands of years.
Yeah.
So when you are trying to convert people to your belief system in a population that has no TV or podcast or live stream and can't even read, you have to use their symbols. You have to take the symbols they
Exactly.
already know,
Exactly.
and you have to
Exactly.
incorporate them and say, this thing that you've always known, this altar, this cross, this symbol, it's our symbol too. So come in. It's familiar. It's familiar.
Exactly.
And so
It's
let us,
it's the
it's
same
not
thing
right
with
or wrong, right? I
no,
mean,
it's not. No,
it's
no,
just,
no,
it
it's
is
not.
what
It's
it
it
is.
just is.
Yeah.
It's like Reiki. I mean, if you start looking at the beginnings of Reiki healing and you look at what it is now, it's had a lot of it's been morphed quite a few times.
Sure.
So when you start really researching it, and again, that's what people need to do. People need to take it upon themselves to research it. I have a good friend that I worked with probably 20 to 25 years. He's a Pentecostal. He's a Pentecostal Christian. And they used to, when they wanted to punish me, they used to put him with me, at
Right.
work. We'd be stuck in this truck. But I loved it because I could like ask him questions and he actually went, and the reason why he became a Pentecostal was he went and read the Bible. He says, I wanted to go and I wanted to get to the basis. And after I got about three-quarters through the Bible, I said, you know what? He says, I believed it. It made sense to me. That's why he did it. Now, I give him all the credit in the world. I may not agree with what he does. I may not agree with his belief system, but I totally agree with him taking the time to learn it and to learn from everything. That's why I hang out with, hoodoo and voodoo people and Santeria people and people in the craft, Pentecostals, because of
When
the
you
fact
say
that
people in the craft, are like witchcraft, spirit? Like what
yeah,
do you mean?
witchcraft,
Okay.
the different magicians that
Sure.
I like to do that because of the fact that I learn something all the time. And the one thing I always look for is I look for that kernel of that the similarity. And basically almost every major religion, not all, but almost every major religion, and of course, if you go and look into even I will say some of the offshoots, do unto others as you would do unto you and have them do unto you, and that is like the basis of so many religions, and that's where people are missing it. I'm looking for similarities rather than things that are different, and when you can find the similarities, then everything kind of rolls together for me. And that's what there's nothing greater than the biggest honor for me is to be invited to a ritual, or especially like in hoodoo and voodoo. I mean, it's just an
A
amazing,
ritual
amazing
where you
thing.
maybe crack open spirits. Yes.
Spirit.
Is that a
Spirit.
that's a Ouija board shot glass.
What else would you want?
You could turn that upside down and find the letters.
Well, you know what? When I was growing up,
Yeah.
we didn't use Ouija boards when I was growing up. So what we did is we had a polished tabletop with a
Yeah.
shot glass or a wine glass. Yes or no answers. That's how I first started.
Just curious if the bottom of that shot glass says good night.
Well, wait a minute. I gotta see. Hold on. No.
And you're out. Whoa. Oh, God, that's good. That's good. Timothy T. Shaw. Listen, man, the beer's empty. So I don't even care what time it is. But I know that the beer's empty. There's your website, timothytshaw.com. Find him on social media. All his links are on his website, of course. And, Black Cat Lounge, Tuesday nights. I haven't been on in years, but that's fine.
Well, we're going to bring it up because of what I did was, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I brought back the Black Cat Lounge.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Because of the fact that with COVID and everybody, there was so much depression and I just wanted to put stuff out there to make people enjoy it. So I just started teaching, and I will be bringing back. Now that we're on beautiful StreamYard, we're going to go and I'll be bringing back guests. So I really would be honored if you came back on. And
I bet you would. I'll bet you would, Tim Shaw.
And I'd give you $2. That's how much I like you. $2. Listen,
$2. Well, $2.
I would even give Zappos $2, and I would give you $2.
Tim, I'm going to take my rain stick. I'm going to play one more song as we ride off into the sunset. I appreciate you joining me tonight, having a drink or two. And how about Take It Easy by the Eagles? Right?
I like it. I'm there.
Running down the road, trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. Yeah, it's like they're right here.
Great.
It's like they're right here, right now.
Right there. I love it.
It's amazing. Hey, follow us, share us, check us out. Come back another time. And folks, please be kind to one another because, my goodness, we need it more than ever. Be good. Have some drinks. Have some fun. Take good care. And until next time, take it easy.